Translation industry trends to watch out for in the future. The Dubbing King software, a comprehensive audio-visual translation (AVT) software for Windows. The Dubbing King software caters for various audio-visual translation (AVT) modes. It is used for subtitling, translation and the dubbing processes. Globalization is a reality for both small and large businesses because the growth markets are in Asia, Latin America and, increasingly, Africa. Strategic planning must include options for growing market share overseas, which means creating new market segments and not making assumptions on customer preferences and buying patterns based on North American customers. Businesses can use localization and translation to become effective global operations. Localization. Localization is the modification of product design, packaging, and marketing functions to suit local markets. Product changes may be necessary to account for cultural differences and local regulations. For example, a restaurant franchisor may have to change its menu for a country that restricts the sale of certain types of meat. In addition to translation from English to the local language on product labels, companies may have to change the content or the size of their products to comply with local regulations. Marketing campaigns may need changes to respect cultural differences. For example, certain kinds of costumes or public displays of affection may not be appropriate in some countries, although a commercial featuring polar bears skiing down mountain slopes with beverages in their hands would work anywhere. Translation. Translation is a form of localization. It involves the translation of labels, manuals, training videos, commercials and websites into local languages. To save costs, some companies develop their manuals and training materials in multiple languages, including English, Mandarin, Hindi, French, Spanish and Arabic. Corporate websites have to be translated, especially the frequently used e-commerce and help sections. Relocating managers should learn to communicate in the local language or at least understand some of the nuances of nonverbal communication. Senior management should consider the use of simultaneous translators in meetings with their global partners, especially if some of them are not comfortable communicating in English. Translation is important because people prefer their native language. English is the most widely spoken language. To effectively sell to people, it's not enough to speak a language that they understand, especially if their understanding is limited. You must speak to them in the language their heart speaks so as to achieve your goal and in return market your business. Modern technology has made the world a much smaller place, especially when it comes to business. While your local market used to be your surrounding area, it is now the entire world. Expanding your business into the global market means that you will be working with people that speak various languages. Translation services have been rapidly expanding to make communication with those of other cultures much easier. Here are some trends to watch in the future from a translation service provider. The prominence of artificial intelligence. The translation industry is already using artificial intelligence, but this is expected to expand even more during 2019. Older software used for translation can translate words but is unable to recognize the nuances of language. This makes it difficult to fully understand what someone is trying to say. Artificial intelligence solves this problem so that you will have no problem communicating with a foreign client or partner. Growth of video translation. When working in a global market, video translation is a necessary asset. Whether you're sending information to customers, pitching to new clients prior to meeting them face-to-face, or creating training videos for new employees in another region, video translation ensures that you are able to effectively communicate with others around the world. While video translation already plays a major role in global business, this will grow throughout 2019. The result is that you will be able to provide information about your products or services to anyone in the world. Increase in machine translation with human post-editing. Communicating with those around the world can be difficult because of the nuance of language. Despite all of the advancements in translation technology, this remains to be one of the biggest challenges. The ability for someone to make edits to the translations when needed ensures that the right message is being sent so that there are no misunderstandings that could be detrimental to a business relationship. With more businesses desiring this capability, you will see it increase in various translation software options in 2019. More companies globalizing. The primary advantage for the globalization of a company is that you can increase your client base from a few 100,000 people to millions of people. With advancements in translation services, globalizing your products or services is much easier than ever before. As more and more companies decide to globalize, competitors are forced to follow. This is expected to continue in 2019 as more businesses will find the benefits of globalization too irresistible to ignore. Better ROI and cost-effective translation services. As translation services have become more common, it's created a competitive market within the industry. The result is that translation service companies are unable to continue business without improving their products. For your business, this means that you will be able to achieve a better return on your investment in the service and obtain a more cost-effective translation service. This is a trend that has already started but will continue in the future. It's now easier than ever to expand your business into the global market, and translation services are an essential part of that expansion. These are some of the trends that will continue throughout in the future. Marketing your freelance translation business is just like marketing any other business. What it comes down to is making sure people actually know about the product or service that you're offering, and then making sure they have a positive experience with that product or service. As a freelance translator, you are providing people a service and a product. You are providing a service by translating their materials into a different language, and you are also providing a product because what you give back to them is something that you have essentially created. It just happens to reflect what they gave you, albeit in a different language. Steps for marketing your freelance translation business. So how should you go about getting people to know about your business? Well, here are 7 steps for marketing your freelance translation business. Tell everyone you know that you are a freelance translator. Nobody will ever know if you never open your mouth to say anything about it. Make sure that when you do tell people that you are confident about your abilities. Act like you've been doing it for a long time, and people will trust you more with their work. Contact local businesses and let them know about your services. There are a ton of local businesses that could use translation services every once in a while. These businesses do not often deal with translators, and so when the time comes that they need one, they go to the phone book or they find someone they know. Be the person they know. Volunteer. There are a ton of volunteer opportunities either in your community or online where you can provide translation services for free. This will get your name out there and eventually give you more exposure. Check with your local United Way or other non-profit groups in the area to see if they know of anybody in need of a translator. Get online. Okay, you knew this one was coming. If you're not able to find enough work in your local area, you might need to expand operations. Get online, create a website and let people know you're there. This article isn't about getting online, but there are plenty of articles written that can help you with that. Ask former clients for referrals. If you've done a good job for a client and they were happy working with you, try and hit him up for either more work or the name of somebody that might need some work done. People are willing to pass your name on as long as you've been professional with them. Get a business card. This goes along with the first couple of tips. You can tell people until you're blue in the face about your new freelance translation business, but when it comes time for them to find a translator, they'll have forgotten who it was that was telling them about their translation business. By always carrying your business card, you can give something concrete to people, and they will have something to refer back to. Don't stop. A lot of translators might do a couple of the steps outlined above, get some translation work, and then stop marketing themselves. As a translator, you should spend part of your time each day marketing your freelance translation business. The minute you stop doing that is the minute you start losing translation contracts. Better to spend a few minutes each day marketing rather than try to play catch-up every couple of weeks. By using these tips, you'll be able to increase the amount of work you're getting as a freelance translator and build your freelance translation business. Written by Everline, Moragwa, Achira.